there's a problem with our spreadsheet. Okay, well, it's not a problem, it's a limitation. I'll show you why, right? As we went through this, right, what we had to do was we had to say, okay, look, if we earn this amount, then we started a formula, right? And then we worked out all of our cells on the assumption that we're in this tax bracket, the one that has this rule to it, right? But if we earn more, or if we think about, well, what happens if we go for more years, right? Suppose I say, let's go into here, instead of weeks worked equals 48, right? If I wanted to say, well, what happens after 5 years, right? Or what happens if, yeah, okay, let's just multiply it by 5, okay? Now you could work out, you could say 5 times 48 equals etc. But come on. Are you getting the theme yet? It's a spreadsheet. It'll do it for you. So all you have to do is say equals 5 times. There you go, and it'll work out the number for you. Okay, now again the numbers are too big, so I just double click and there you go. But here's a problem, right? We've worked out this gross income, but now we're not in the same tax bracket, right? We're not in, this rule doesn't apply anymore. If you come back to our table, where are we? Sorry, the number was 150, okay? So where are we? Yeah, here we are, okay? So this rule doesn't apply anymore. A new rule applies, okay? So how are we going? We don't want to have to manually change it every time. We want the spreadsheet to do that for us, okay? So I'm going to teach you a bit of a fancy trick, okay? I want you to go here, start a brand new sheet because we're going to do a bit of experimenting. Yeah?
How did yours go like straight to 150? So can you do that again?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I had 48 here before, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I wanted to multiply that by 5.
Yeah.
So, you know, a monkey's way of doing it is saying 5 times 48, working out, and then putting that number in. But I'm going to get the spreadsheet to do it. Yeah. So I'll say equals 5 times 48. Whatever that might be, and you hit enter.
Mine didn't work.
So then your formulas might not be there. See, mine are all formulas, right? See this number? It's not really a number. It's a formula that gives me a number, and that's the whole point of the spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
Are they all formulas?
Oh, one of them's not.
That'll be it, okay? It only takes one link in the chain, right? Because then everything else will reflect that. Okay, so let's start a new sheet. So come down here if you can't remember. It's this little square rectangle with a star on it. Insert worksheet. Yep. Okay, start fresh. Fresh sheet. Okay, so let's do some stuff on this. Let me make it a bit bigger for you. Okay, here we go. So what I want us to imagine is, okay, we've got a brand new spreadsheet, and this time it's a fitness advisor. Okay, it's a fitness advisor. It's a very simple one. Okay, it's a very simple one. So all it tells you is, if you tell it a weight, right, how much you weigh, okay, and you can make up this number, then it'll give you some advice.
How do you make these?
Okay, so are you talking about how to make a new sheet?
No, I've got a new sheet, but how did you just make it big?
Okay, so up in the top here on this bit where I can control the columns, right? If you put your mouse in between two columns, then you can adjust. You can drag it. Okay. So this is really simple, right? Now, let's just suppose, okay, a person weighs 65 kilograms. Okay. Yeah, I let go a little bit, right? So I put on some weight. So we'll make a really simple advice giver, right? And the way it's going to say is, if you're above a certain weight, it'll say go exercise. And if you're below a certain weight, it'll say you're fine. That's all it's going to do. Okay? You can make it fancier later if you want. So you start with an equation. Everything starts with an equation. Okay? And what we want it to do is, we want it to give something different if this value is above or below whatever. Okay? So you start by typing if. Okay? So this is a condition. Okay? It's going to check this thing over here, see if it meets a certain condition or not, and then spit out some advice. Okay? So I open up a bracket, right? And then you can see it even tells you, it gives you some advice as to what you need to put in here. Okay? So first it says we need a logical test. I'm going to write this down so you can all follow me, because if you miss a bit, it'll be tricky to catch up. Okay? Yeah, so a logical test is like this, right? So I'll say if. Okay. Now I want it to look at this cell, okay? Like so. And we're going to say, well, all right, let's just suppose if you're over 100 kilograms, right? 100 kilograms. If it's greater than 100.
So did you just type in A2?
Yeah. Well, I clicked on there, but typing A2 will have the same effect. Okay. So you can see I've got an inequality symbol there.
Does that have to be capital?
That's greater than. I don't think it has to be capitals, but I put them capitals just so I can see them a little more clearly. Okay. If A2 is greater than 100. Okay, so that greater than sign, right? A2 greater than 100, that's above the full stop. Okay, so shift full stop, there you go. Okay, now, put a comma. Now, we want to say, well, if you're over 100 kilos, we want this advice giver to say, go and exercise. Okay, so we're literally going to write with quote marks, go and exercise. There you go. Okay, so if this number is over 100, that's what it's going to say. Okay, it's literally going to write that. And that's what it's going to reply. Okay. So that's the value that this cell will take if this condition is true. And that's why it says value if true. Okay. Do you have false?
Yeah.
It's backwards from mine.
You close
I've
the
got
bracket.
value if true and value if false. Okay, I haven't closed the bracket yet. I just put a comma. Just a comma.
No, I mean after going exercise. I closed the bracket.
So I've got, you can have it look exactly as mine looks. Okay. So if A2 is greater than 100, go and exercise, right? So there's my advice. So what do you want it to say if you're under 100? Have a meal. Okay? Have a happy meal. Fine. Okay. Bit of personality. Right, there you go. So this is what it's going to say if it's false. And now I close my bracket. Okay? So that's everything. Okay? 3 pieces to it.
It just says have a happy meal.
There's exercise
Mine's not working.
or happy meal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then close the bracket. Have you got everything there? Can you see it all there?
Yeah,
I'll do this.
Okay. Is anyone's working?
Yeah, mine.
Yes, someone's working? Alright. So hands up if it's not working.
Oh, yeah, mine's
Okay. You're right. That's how Peter's going. Okay, alright. So now you can change a cell like over here. Suppose I really let go, right? And I weigh 101 kilos. Okay? You can picture me as a 100. Anyway, okay. So if I press enter, surprise, surprise, it tells me to go and exercise. Okay? Does that make sense? So it's changing
Mine just says have a happy
based on what this says.
101 kilos, have a happy meal.
It just keeps on telling you to have a happy meal. Lucky you. Okay. Is everyone okay so far? Does it make sense? Yeah. All right.
Well,
We're going to use this.
Is this bad? Is it bad if it says have a happy meal?
Well, if you're 101 kilos, I think probably you should maybe ease off on the mic. Okay. Jacob?
How did you make it go back to all that writing, or do
I double clicked on it.
I look right.
So if you ever want to edit a cell and it's got a formula in it, if you double click on it, it'll work. Okay, does that make sense? And obviously you can muck around with this, right? You can say, you can say, yeah. You can be really harsh and say, lose some weight, please. Okay? And it'll reply whatever you like.
Mine just says have a happy meal.
Okay?